YouTube, how the heck you doing? This is Corey here with Watcher of Realms. If you have seen any of the other three videos that I've made today, just know if you want to watch it, that's cool. If you don't want to watch it, that's fine. All this is for the culture. I just want Guild Guild to do well. Let's get straight to it. So this is going to be the Watcher teams. Now, obviously, Watcher unfortunately doesn't mean Leia. Watcher has kind of progressed to mean Ingrid. So here we go, right? So this is going to be one of the team comps that I actually personally did go ahead and like. So let me go ahead and explain my rationale behind it, and then hopefully it makes a little bit more sense and it seems more viable whenever you kind of see how it's supposed to function, right? So first, I am going ahead and manipulating one thing, and this is actually really, really important, and I kind of want this to drive home. So, if I am going ahead, and if you're using a Watcher team and you're using Regulus, right? Garnet guards will hit this tile, right? They will go ahead and hit Greed, but they won't swap targets to Ingrid. So this is really important because when you look at the Nightmare comps and you look at Brokir as well, right? Because Toreador inflicts stuns, Brokir inflicts freezes. There's something in the coding which will go ahead and force Garnet guards to have a. I tested this maybe like 100 times, right? And it's on video, but I tested it, and essentially there's like a 23% chance that both Garnet guards will actually go ahead and swap targets and hit Ingrid, right? There's a 50% chance, just about 50% chance, where one of them will actually go and swap and hit Ingrid, right? So if you can mitigate that by not going ahead and inflicting any status ailments, right? So any stuns, any freezes, anything like that, then you are in a really good chance for it just to hit green and nothing else, right? So that's what you're really looking for. Now with this, there's two things, right? Obviously, Ingrid is going to go ahead and deal a substantial amount of damage. Her job is basically to spawn kill, right? Anything that gets in this area, she's going to go ahead and auto, and then she's going to do her AoE. And so it's going to be really difficult for your enemy to develop any kind of map state. Now, additionally, we have Greed in this slot. Now, the whole purpose of Greed is to act as like an insurance policy, because what I want from him, and I want him to be tanky, right? HP subs, attack speed as much as you can, just so he's a little bit tanky, right? So his job is just to go ahead and inflict so many slows to the point where almost the enemy doesn't even have the ability to stack up any type of swarm and then dogs it through. You just want it to be out of the equation, right? No option, they can't do it. Now we have Wukong in this position, which is fine, right? Wukong goes ahead and gives you that AoE, well, not AoE, but that single target burst. So any tank that gets here is going to get instantly melted by Wukong. That's the hope, right? Now, if you don't want to use Wukong, that's more than fine. Maybe you're using Wukong in a different team, obviously like a Nightmare team. You can go ahead and place Ymrit here, and you're going to get largely the exact same results, right? Ymrit's going to go ahead and hit these tiles here, do a substantial amount of AoE damage, freeze, and you're going to get pretty much the exact same results, if not better results, by going ahead and placing a Ymrit in this tile. The main hope is just that, obviously, right? Regulus is going to be tanky. He's going to have that revive. Mine is a 5, so he basically has 2 revives as far as I'm concerned. And then we have Lily here, so Lily's going to go ahead and revive him as well. So that's what you're really just going ahead and hoping for. Now, Ingrid, right? She is going to have the potential to swap over to that single target mode, depending on what your enemy tries to do. And so that is why we have Greed, right? So I'll give you like a case scenario just so you can have an idea, right? So a person goes ahead and uses Pharaoh Guard, one Pharaoh Guard, drops the Fool, right? So Ingrid is going to go ahead and swap over to single target mode because there's not multiple units. So she's going to go ahead and hit that. And then the Fool is going to go ahead and give shields. Basically, the Pharaoh Guard, immortal, as far as we're concerned, right? The next step is they're going to go ahead and drop either two things. Double Abyssal into the Rare Bugs, or double Dogs. What's going to happen is Greed's entire purpose as to being on this team is to go ahead and instantly slow them to the point where they can't do anything, and then Ingrid is going to get the chance to free hit, and ideally take them out alongside Wukong. You can go ahead and swap Greed out for Theowen. That's more than fine. Theowen is going to give you better range. I just personally think Greed is a little bit more oppressive, and ever since playing against Greed back in like, when did he kind of become meta? Like season 6? Well, he was meta in like season 2 and season 1, but he really became like annoying in like season 6. he's just oppressive. Going against a Greed that's well built, insta slows, basically perma slows, magic damage, just annoying, right? So this is going to be the team 1. Now, you have the ability to go and swap this around, right? Obviously, with any type of team, you have the ability to do some flexibility. So this is going to be team number 2. Regulus is here. Now, in this slot, you can actually go ahead and use a Brokir. This is where Brokir is fine. You're going to go ahead and use your Lily. You're going to put your Ingrid here. You're going to go ahead and put your Wukong here. Now, obviously, Wukong, swap them, right? Swap your Wukong. You can go ahead and put Ares here. If you have Ares, congrats. You have won the lottery. You're feeling great. You're going to do so much damage in this little corridor, and you're going to be so safe. It is going to be infuriating for anybody going against you, right? I have Greed here. Now, the whole purpose for Greed is a little bit to go ahead and slow these units down. And ideally, if you have an Ares here, right? Or you have a Ymir here, this is where Greed really, really kind of kicks in and becomes a nuisance to go ahead and deal with. Reason being is because Greed is going to slow them down, and then Ares or Ymir is just going to get the chance to free hit them pretty much, right? They're just going to clip this towel and just free hit them, do so much damage to the point where nothing gets the chance to develop, and Regulus is safe, right? So what I mean by that is they're not going to be able to stack up a bunch of units and just run it down without Greed going ahead and giving you perma slows, which will allow Ingrid to free hit whatever is hitting Regulus, the tank, and dealing damage to him, right? So that's what you're really looking for. Now, you also have the ability, and I kind of mentioned this previously, right? You go ahead and place Regulus behind, and you have Wukong here. Greed is going to be your bait, which is okay. And then Ingrid has the ability to free hit this entire range right here. Now, I know this sounds super counterintuitive because you're like, wait a second, like, why am I placing these units back here, right? Because what's going to happen is Bookkeeper is going to go ahead and hit this. Wukong is going to go ahead and survive, right? If you go ahead and build him in decent subs, he should go ahead and survive. And ideally, you could even go ahead and run a Carnelian, and then you're feeling really good, right? So you do have some options here. There's a lot of flexibility, but for now, you can just go ahead and run Ymir in this particular tile, and then you're going to feel really good. Ingrid is going to go ahead and swap over to her single target mode, and that's where you're going to get some benefits as well. But I'm not going to lie, I'm just a huge fan of this placement right now. I just see so many good teams that are benefiting from it. It's just hard to ignore. I just like it. It just works, right? So this is going to be the other team comp, but generally speaking, the one that's going to be the most high performing is going to be the first one that I went ahead and showed. So just to go ahead and bring it back. This is going to be your dominant Ingrid team, by and large, right? And the main reason as to why is because this setup is only beneficial to Paredes whenever you're running it, because Paredes has a normal mage's range and Ingrid doesn't. So you're going to bank on this team being your main go-to for the towers. Now, when it comes to the keeps, I love the keeps. The keeps are really fun, especially for watchers based off what I've cooked up. Hopefully no one gets sick off of this. I know I would get sick because it's a disgusting comp. So here's what we're doing. This. A firing squad. I love it, right? So let's go ahead and explain it. Now, I have a Valkyra here. You should actually have a Ares here, right? So Ares is going to go ahead and deal a substantial amount of damage, just kind of chunk out everything in this little area, this little corridor. And then Regulus is right here. So Regulus is going to demand the attention of the archers every single time because he's going to be the first unit that they're going to be able to target. And archers really don't swap targets like Garnet Guards do. So they're going to get right here. And they're going to say, oh wait, Regulus is here. They're going to auto hit him. And they're never going to swap over to where Ares is in this particular tile. And if you don't have Ares, it is more than okay to actually go ahead and use a Valkyra. Like I have Valkyra right here. She's pretty much going to do the exact same thing, just a little bit less damage. Greed is also here. The reason why Greed is here is because he's going to go ahead and give you slows. Because one of the biggest crutches to every time that you're going to go ahead and run a single tank team. Spiders, Abyssal Beholders, run it down. That's the biggest threat. So if you have a greed, basically insta slowing them to a ridiculous amount right here, allowing your Ares or your Valkyria and your Ingrid to just free hit them for a second just to take them down. What should happen is you're able to take out all the rare bugs and a couple of the epic bugs well enough so that your rest of the map, or not rest of the map, but like your damage dealers, your Valkyria, your Ares, your Ingrid, has little to really worry about because Regulus is able to take up the last 4 units, right? Your main goal is to just take out all the weak units, low HP units. Greed's going to help you with that. That's how you go ahead and stifle or stop the entire just run it, speed run it attempt. There you go. Now, we have an Ezreal in here. You can go ahead and swap Ezreal out for Lily. Same thing. Same benefits, right? So that's where you're going to go ahead and look for. This is going to be, honestly, the best team possible when it comes to the keeps for the Ingrid teams. You just want to go ahead and force your enemy into the most obnoxious, frustrating firing squad of all time. Just magic damage, lasers. There you go. See ya.